Welcome everyone. Super happy to have you here. We have an amazing webinar today. Like I had a sneak peek yesterday. Anthony showed me just a little what he will share today, and it's just awesome. So get ready for it. But just before we start, we are all already ready to start. But I will share with you agenda and what will happen today. Just give me 1 second. I will share my screen. And where is my screen? God damn it, I have so many open windows. But here it is. So, slideshow. And welcome everyone. Welcome, Anthony. I'm super happy to have you here today and sharing your great experience in this webinar for the Freelance Academy hosted by 9am. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works. And usually I say I'm not the host. I'm just the guy who creates a Zoom link and texts people too much. But today I'll be the host in the webinar. And our guest is Anthony Muhye, a technical writer, a storyteller. God damn it, a storyteller who has brought value to clients such as Microsoft, Breakthrough Energy, Janus Henderson, and so many other enterprise clients. And also, Anthony is a dedicated coach and mentor with a wealth of experience in scaling freelancers' careers from solopreneurs to successful businesses. And having overseen and managed over 500 freelancers, he brings a unique perspective and practical knowledge to help you achieve your freelancing aspirations. So welcome, Anthony. Super happy to have you here.
Thank you
And
so much.
before, just a few more seconds before handing it over to you, I will tell you what is the structure of today's webinar. So first, I'll quickly explain what the 9am.works and what we do for new people who haven't tried it yet. Then we'll have a great presentation from Anthony, and then we'll have some time to ask Anthony anything about his presentation. So if you have any questions, ask them right away on chat or on the Q&A. Anthony will answer all of your questions at the end. So, but just ask them, otherwise you will forget. And it's not that nice to lose a question. So once the webinar ends, you will see on your screen a small survey. It will take almost nothing of your time, but it'll help us a lot to understand what and how to do better. And talking about the 9am. So 9am.works is the freelancing operating system, and it's basically all-in-one tool you need as a freelancer. Whether you're just starting or growing your freelancing career, the 9am will assist you in getting new clients, arranging projects, receiving payments, and handling your finances. It's totally free for free. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of losing my English today, but I will get it back. So it's totally free for freelancers now and forever. So sign up, try it. And if you have any feedback, anything you like, you use to ease your freelancing routine, or maybe even if you'd like to add and improve something, just share your thoughts with us right away, as we are craving for ways to improve. And just like that, Anthony, given all power to you, and I'll be somewhere nearby, just like truth.
Thank you very much, Yuri. And thank you very much to the 9am team for inviting me. I'm so glad to see all of these people joining, all of these familiar faces. I hope my sound is good. This is a professional microphone. I wasn't using it, but Yuri told me, you sound like you're in a well, like you fell inside a well. And I was like, oh, okay, let me fix that. So today I'll be presenting, as you know, the Scale Your Career and Maximize Your Revenue webinar. As you know, there are plenty of things you can do. I've talked about it on LinkedIn, but this is like your big consultation call today that I'll be presenting. So this is a free consultation call. Just think about it like that. I'm about to share my screen, so let's get ready for that. Hopefully everybody can see this. This is the front page. Can you see it, Yuri?
All good.
All good. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. This is the Scale Your Career and Maximize Your Revenue webinar, as I said, hosted by myself and by 9am. 9am, as you know, is a CRM service, and myself, I'm your favorite freelance guide, as I've said before. I'm like a top-rated freelancer client hybrid these days. I'm hiring and working more with freelancers than I am working as a freelancer, but I highly enjoy helping people get hired and convince basically to sell themselves to clients and get hired and get good jobs, high ticket jobs. That's what I do these days. So when I was freelancing, I was more of a copywriter, more of a technical writer, publishing consultant. I still do that. I still do that all the time. But these days, I'm just trying to help people get their freelancing careers started, skyrocketing, right? I love the presentation. I love the animation. This is all Canva, by the way. It's lovely. So, as I said, the webinar content, let's break it down. Introduction, who am I? You should know. Maybe you don't. Let's see. Section 1, what makes a high-performing freelancer? We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about what you're doing, your strategy. Section 2, this is about me. This is about from how I went from a broke student in Venezuela to a high-ticket consultant. This is a very special. I want to tell you more about myself, stuff that you've never seen on my posts. Section 3, scaling from freelancer to business. This is what the webinar is ultimately about, the end goal of freelancing. You want to be a business. I see that Maria Britz is here. Hi, Maria. And she recently did her own shift, right? And I see that there are more people who are reaching this level of freelancing that are making the shift, not from freelancer to big money freelancer, but instead to agency and to the business level freelancing, which is totally different. And finally, we have the conclusion and next steps. I have an announcement to make at the end, so stay until the end, please. Okay, so moving on, about me. You probably know who I am, but if you don't, I was born in England. I was born in the UK. This was, I'm 33 these days, getting older. I was born in England and I was pretty privileged. It was a simple childhood. I lived in the center of London, very comfortable. I had everything I wanted, only child, so no worries about fighting with brothers or sisters. And when I was a young boy, my father decided to go to Venezuela. And things were very good in Venezuela. They looked very promising. But suddenly a crisis struck, which was a very big crisis. People were starving. People had to leave the country. There's millions of Venezuelans all around the world. You might know that. They're all over the world because the situation in Venezuela hasn't improved. It's gotten worse since the early 2010s, and it's still really bad. So I still have family there. And when it was around 2014, 2015, I had a big problem at home and I no longer could count on the support of my parents and I just had to do something. So I discovered Upwork through a friend. My friend, she was an English teacher like I was. And I told her that I would like to teach English with you. And she said, no, I have something better for you. You should try out Upwork. I'm making a lot of money there. So I started on Upwork and I said, well, this is good because within 1 week I had a job, my first job. My first job was ghost writing books for Minecraft. More about that in a second. So I was working on writing these books. I was making like really pathetic money, but it was a lot of money in Venezuela, which was $50 per book, which came at 45 because our book took 10% back then before they started taking 20. And then now they take 10% again. So what I did was I tried to do 2 books at least monthly and I was making about $100. I was over the moon. And then suddenly I realized that we're going to reach that in a moment. But suddenly I realized that why am I making this little? I mean, why am I using Upwork to make $100 or $200 or maybe even $300? And that was when I realized that there is so much more potential. There is so much more you can do. And the fact that I lived in Venezuela shouldn't stop me from making more. And these days, well, you can see the flags here, which are the United Kingdom, Venezuela, and Spain, because right now I'm living in Spain. I left Venezuela. I'm living in Spain. I'm happy here. Who knows where my journey will take me? I don't know, but that's where I am now. So by day, I'm a B2B copywriter, business to business copywriter and publishing consultant. I work very closely with publishers on Amazon, helping people get books published, especially companies. And by night, my alter ego comes out. I'm a freelance guide. I post on about freelancing. I help people get their careers started. I help people get high ticket clients. So section 1, I mean, what makes a high performing freelancer? I used to have this high performing line on my LinkedIn bio, my LinkedIn headline, and I removed it because I said high performing. What does high performing mean? Maybe people don't know what that means. High performing doesn't mean that you're making 10K, 20K, 30K. That's not what it means. A high performing freelancer is someone who can land high ticket clients, who knows how to do the job professionally, who has a great experience in freelancing, and they know what they're doing, basically. Even if they're making 1,000 a month, it doesn't mean that they're not high performing. It means that if they have the experience and the ability to land high ticket clients, that makes you high performing. So this is where we lead to the first step, which is the power of mindset. Mindset is everything. I have said this before in my posts. I'm sorry I refer to my post, but most of you know me through LinkedIn. So the power of mindset is related to how you perceive yourself as a freelancer. Most freelancers, or many freelancers, are making the same mistake, which is they see themselves as a service provider. This is something that I often blame Fiverr. I don't want to hate on Fiverr, but I blame Fiverr for this because Fiverr has taught people to become service providers. Upwork does it as well, but not as badly. You don't want to just sell a service again and again and again and again. That's not the strategy to growing towards high growth. What you want to do is improve continually by selling higher value, becoming more valuable for the clients you are working with, and gradually like raising your rates. And it's not just raising your rates, it's adopting the mentality that you are valuable. This can be, doesn't matter how much you know. Well, it doesn't matter how much you know, actually, but it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what you graduated in. It doesn't matter, just all of those things that stop you, like those imposter syndrome issues that you may have. It's all about mindset. It's all about understanding that you are looking for long-term, high-ticket clients who just they adore you. You can tell them, hey, I need some work, I need this job, or I can offer you something new, and they will send you that job because they love you. That's what you want. And I think that that's where the power of mindset is. People need to be confident that they can provide this value. They can be able to solve all the problems that clients are looking for. So if you can think, I am the best, you've got it covered. I'm the best in my niche. It doesn't matter if you're not. It doesn't matter if you've made 10,000, 5,000. If you can think of yourself as the best in your niche, you will make it. And that leads us to how to level up. How do you go from a simple service provider to a expert freelancer, high-performing freelancer? Well, that's the problem. You have to level up. You have to change your mindset. You have to consider that this is not about offering a package of articles or some designs or this or that. You have to be more strategic, right? This has a lot to do with the level that you are offering your services at. If you are offering, for example, content writing, you cannot simply tell the client, I will write some articles for you. Instead, you have to look upwards. You have to scale up. You have to look, what else do they need? Do they need a marketing strategy? Do they need a content strategy? Is this something I can do? Why do I have to just write articles all day? This is where I was. I'm not attacking content writers. I was a content writer once. I was a ghostwriter, which is what even less paid, not a LinkedIn ghostwriter. I was a book ghostwriter. That is one of the lowest paid jobs. So book ghostwriters, the problem that they have is they're just writing books all the time, right? But there are more things you can do. For these days, for example, I'm consulting on Amazon. That gives me much more money. I mean, I'm making now in 1 hour what I used to make in 7 days of work. Crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's possible, but it's something you have to do. This is how you level up. And this is where we come to the using psychology and communication to dominate interviews slide, which is, to me, it's what I try to do on LinkedIn all the time. I try to teach you and everybody who doesn't follow me, please. I try to teach people how to take control of interviews, because as a client, there is an angle that I know there are people who are teaching freelancing, but this is an angle that I find that is my specialty, my forte, right? I try to teach people that clients, they're not just going for your best proposal. They're not just going for your best headline or your profile picture or what rate did you add on your profile. It's not about that. Some people even suggest that if you have a bad job or work history on Upwork or wherever, on LinkedIn, whatever, you should just remove it and start over. You shouldn't do that. There is always the chance to improve and always a chance to start over in your career without having to delete anything, without having to re-niche or rebrand or whatever. Psychology and communication is everything. I often, as a client, I don't hire the best freelancer or the highest earning freelancer. I hire the most confident freelancer, the one who demonstrated through their wording, through their proposals, through the way they communicated with me. Because I've interviewed people and then rejected them. Interviews don't mean anything if you're not good at communication. So what I do is I hire the most confident person, the person who shows the most love for this job. I have done this for several years now. I have been as a client since 2019, actually before that, 2018, but I didn't last long in that year. So 2019, March, around that date, I started as a client, and I've seen endless interviews, endless proposals, endless freelancers. And I've noticed that many make the mistake that when they start making like 100K plus or 70K plus or 60K, they start sending worse proposals. They start taking it less seriously. It's more like a certain air of arrogance, right? You have to be very convincing at all levels. Even some of the best and most, some of the best freelancers out there, even when they have made 1 million, they will still continue communicating effectively. And that's what makes them expert vetted or whatever. Okay, so we can move to section 2. I just want to close the previous section by saying that there is a lot to learn, but mostly work on your confidence, work on eliminating the imposter syndrome from your life, because that is how you will get the best jobs. I mean, the best jobs, nobody, enterprise client, one of those top spending clients, like 100K, or not 100K, actually much more, 1 million spent on Upwork, they're not going to hire you if you're not a good communicator. Believe me, they're not going to hire you. There are people with enterprise clients who have just less than 10,000 on Upwork. And on LinkedIn, I mean, we haven't even gotten started on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, if you don't have a personal brand which is developed and you don't know how to communicate yourself well, even if you don't have a personal brand, you need to communicate yourself well if you're going to do outreach. Otherwise, people, they're not going to take you seriously. They're just going to see you as another pitch slapper, you know? So section 2, how I went from $10 a month to $5,000 a month. I know there are many people here who are from Asia, who are from Africa. I'm not sure where else. There's people from Latin America here too. Of course, there are some from Europe, there are some from the United States, but this is going to touch the hearts of people who are in Africa and India, Pakistan, Philippines, Vietnam, etc. $10 a month. If you said that to somebody living in Europe, they would say, what are you talking about? $10 a month? You're lying. People have actually claimed that, how did you make $10 a month? And then now you're living in Spain. You're just so full of beep. Basically, in 2015, I was teaching English. Like I said, I was a student, still a student. I hadn't even graduated. I hadn't even finished my subjects, my courses. So that was what I was making, about $10 to $12. The minimum wage was around 20, where I was making a bit more than half of the minimum wage. Couldn't work harder because I was studying. That was when I entered Upwork. It didn't take me long to get a job, as I told you, but I soon started aiming higher. I moved, I lived away from my parents. I realized I had all of my expenses were now my own. I couldn't keep making 100 a month on Upwork. That didn't even cover my rent or my food or anything. So I decided this is something that I have to change in my life. I started targeting higher value jobs, which was not just to look for jobs with a big budget, but to look for jobs in which the hourly rate or the time I am putting into it is worth more than if I was doing a lower value job. Like I mentioned with content writers before, but we can use designers as an example. There are designers out there who are charging $5 per 3 logos. I've seen that because I've used designers, not that cheap, but I've used cheap designers before. I'm guilty of that. So there is more you can do. There is branding, identity. There is so much for book formatting. There's so much you can do. So I aimed at these clients, and within 3 years, I had landed a job with a chemical company in Arizona. It came partly out of nowhere, but at the same time, I earned it because I was actively looking. I was putting it on my bio. I was reaching out, and I got an invite from a company. I aced that invite. We got on a call. I aced it. He told me about some complicated things that I hadn't even seen in my degree, my courses for chemical engineering, because I'm a chemical engineer. I forgot to say that. And I immediately started helping him from day one. He said, I need this by Sunday. It was Thursday, I remember. And I was like, do it. I mean, I had to look up books, download some books from university that I had never read. And I got there by just putting the effort in. And I see Yuri is smiling yeah. So it was crazy. I mean, it was surreal. I couldn't believe 1 second I was making $10 a month. And then with him, I was making over $3,000 per month. And this was 3 years after starting my career on Upwork. And it blew me away, honestly. But it taught me that I could do anything. And that's the mentality that you must possess. I can do anything. I can work for a Fortune 500 if I want to. And what happened next? few years later, around 2023, this year, I worked with Microsoft. So I ended up working with Microsoft. I mentioned Minecraft earlier. What happened? They were looking for somebody to help them write AI models for upcoming content on Minecraft. I had written my Minecraft content until 2018, and they found me through that. So look how small the world is, right? Because you have this skill that you didn't expect anybody to look for you for using that skill, but you end up working for the creator of that game. Like, how small is the world? Maybe you design a logo today, and within 3 years, I don't know, Apple, Tesla, they say, we like the logo you created for that company. Could you come work with us? It's crazy. But that's how the freelancing world works. It can happen on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually bigger for work with Fortune 500s than Upwork. Let me tell you that. Because on LinkedIn, you can meet anybody. You can say, I want to meet today. I want to meet the CTO of Microsoft. I'm going to meet him. And you send him a message. And maybe he even responds. So think about that. And that image here about Duolingo is because within 2 or 3 years, in 2018, I was reached out by my first Fortune 500 client. Well, I think they're Fortune 500. I'm not sure, but Duolingo reached out to me. I was still in Venezuela. So Microsoft, it was a bit different because I was in Spain now. But Duolingo, while in Venezuela, they reached out to me. We did an extensive interview. I'm going to be honest here. I didn't get the job because at the final stage, I was put up against 2 or 3 people. I imagine that these people were teachers, like experienced teachers or linguists or whatever. I didn't get the job. But to me, to get considered to the final stage of an interview process to create new content for Duolingo, that was huge. I mean, that was huge, regardless of getting the job or not. And this was myself when they reached out. Me. So how do you become this wonderful freelancer that makes all the money, that just keeps growing exponentially? I always tell people when they ask me, what niche should I pick? I hate that question. Please don't ask me that question. What niche should I pick? You do not pick a niche. You end up arriving at a niche. You reach a certain level, reach a certain field. Sorry, I need water right now. Sorry about that. So you reach a certain field or a certain level in life through what you know, through your skills, and through your passions. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to change your niche. That is not true. What I'm saying is, if you know something, if you're good at something in real life, for example, teaching, if you're a teacher, monetize it. Don't just pretend that I'm a teacher, so I'm going to become a writer. Or, maybe I should start on Upwork. I could do content writing. I don't know why everybody who doesn't know anything specific, they always pick content writing. I'm sorry, content writers, I'm beating you down right now. But it's always happens. Like, why? Why content writing? Or why copywriting? Copywriting is the new fashion, right? Everybody wants to be a copywriter. Everybody knows how to write a story or whatever. You don't. So maybe there's something you do know how to do extremely well. Maybe there's something that you know and other people, they don't know. So that is what you have to do. I'm sorry, I'm just checking if I've missed something. Yeah. So basically, one thing I want you to remember is that the number of freelancers every year is growing. It's growing a lot. According to a source here, which is Exploding Topics, it's really serious, right? The name, no, it's not. But according to this source, in 2023, there are 73.3 million freelancers in the US. And by 5 years from now, there will be 90 million. So every day there are new competitors, there are new people you have to battle. I understand that some people say, don't focus on your competitors. This is a philosophy I go against completely. You have competitors. You have to accept that every day there is somebody out there who may take your job, who may be just 1% better than you, and they'll take that client that could have been for you. So you have to be better than them. You have to improve every day. It's not about fighting them or about tackling them directly. It's about being better. It's about improving yourself, not letting yourself become victim of a complacency, a comfort zone, right? So that is something you have to look at. Very importantly, please do not use location as an excuse. Do not. If there is something you have to take away from this, location is not an excuse. I mean, look at this map, right? Everybody, there's people in Greenland, in China, whatever. location does not matter. I'm teaching you this. Even just checking out my story right now, I'm teaching you this. Somebody in Venezuela, some kid in Venezuela, right? I knew English. That was the only advantage that I had, that I knew English and I had a computer. That's it. So there is no excuse for people who know English and have a computer. Because at the end of the day, I didn't just do chemical engineering work, by the way. I just want to clear that up. There was plenty of other work that I did that got me to where I am, which did not require technical knowledge. They did not require me to know what surfactants are or what chemical process plants do. It was plenty of simple work, but things that I could do really well. So this is something that I recommend. Stop undercharging because you are in India or because you are in Pakistan. I know there are people out there. There are freelance coaches out there. You know, they pretend to be freelance coaches, and they teach people that if you are in India, charge less because that's how you'll get more clients. And I've never challenged them because I don't want to damage my brand, but I've wanted to post and say, this person, he's crazy. This person, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Because they suggest, I mean, working at super low rates for a long time, something I would never suggest. I often tell people, for your first job, why not undercharge? Sure, it can get you that rating quickly. It can open the doors for you fast if you undercharge once, twice. But do not dedicate your life to undercharging because you will never grow. You will never grow. Believe me. When I was undercharging, I wasn't growing. And that's why I suddenly started to grow. That's why I am where I am, because I stopped. Oh. So this image, you may have seen it before. With freelancing, you can make money while in your pajamas. You can. That's not the end goal of freelancing. I don't know what you think about this, but honestly, freelancers who just do it because they have free time to do things, they are not going to get very far. What you have to do is you have to focus on your freelancing career having some kind of progression, some kind of end goal, which is business. You should be looking to become a business because freelancers, they are just selling their time for money. Selling your time for money, it is finite. You will not always have the same energy. You will not always have the same amount of clients. That is why I tell people the goal is not reaching 20K per year and then saying, I'm going to make 50K per year next year. It's about scaling from 20K. It's about making 20K predictable, and then you can scale. It doesn't matter if next year you make 22K, but if it was easier to make 22K than it was last year to make 20, you've done it right. That is why people, when they say, yeah, my goal this year is 70K, and I would say, it's not 70K. It shouldn't be 70K. It should be just making 50K easier because that's the goal here. How do you do that? You do that through upsells. For example, you get clients through an initial offer, and then you say, well, I also have this service. Maybe you add on the first day, maybe halfway through the relationship, you say, I have something else which I offer. Let me check out your full website strategy and I can charge you for that, but not that much. I'll just make sure that it's an amount that is fair and that keeps you, within budget. But you just keep getting more and more out of each client. You pull this lifetime value, right? They call that lifetime value. And you get more out of each client. So that means you don't have to go running to get the next one. That is how you scale a business, by getting people to pay you more per client. Because getting one client, getting 2 clients, 3 clients, 4 clients, it's always a challenge. It always takes time, takes money. Even if you're good at writing proposals, even if you have so much time in your day or you have a VA, it's tough. It's not easy to get a good high ticket client. So make sure that you maximize that. That's the name of the webinar, right? Maximize your revenue of each client. To do this, you should preferably build a network. On LinkedIn, you can do this. On Upwork, it's harder. They introduced a network thing. I actually discovered it through somebody on this webinar. And you have to build a network when it's on LinkedIn. How do you do this? Just don't pitch. Look for people who are doing things that you might be able to work with them. Like, for example, you're a content writer. There's somebody or a technical writer. Let's not say content writer anymore. Technical writer. You look for somebody who has an engineering company, maybe. So the engineering company, you don't reach out to them with, hey, I have a service. I write technical blogs. Just instead, you gradually enter their lives, like dating somebody. You go there and you connect with them. You write something like, hey, I really like your content and your company is amazing, this, that. If they respond, good. If they don't, whatever. Just start engaging with them slowly, warm them up, tell them that, oh, this post is amazing. I think that blah, blah, blah. And then eventually you can actually get them to work with you because they know you. You're the guy that commented on my post. Oh yeah, you're Anthony. That's cool. I wanted to mention just now, I reached out to Ryan Musselman. This is not a brag or anything. Reached out to Ryan Musselman. He's on LinkedIn. Really cool guy. I've been commenting on his posts lately, and I love his posts. I love his content because he's one of the influencers on LinkedIn. I don't know if he likes being called that. And he doesn't get involved in controversies like the other guys. He doesn't do like bragging. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, I'm going to write a DM to him. And I invited him, let's do an audio event. He said, sure. He loved it. He loved the idea. And just now he said, thank you thank you. I hope to see you in our audio event soon. And it was great because he should be inaccessible. He's like 50K followers. I'm not sure. But that is the power of communication. That is the power of warming people up, because I've been interested in this content for a while. And I didn't from the first day say, hey, come with me on my audio events. I didn't do that because I knew it wouldn't work. It's not like I played him. Instead, I just got to know him better. And that's what you have to do. Get to know people better. Because if you get to know people better, you don't have any idea, but these huge things will happen in your life. Big things, believe me. So this is, to me, the most important part of the webinar. And if you scale, you win. It's very important for you to remember that. If you scale, if you're able to get the most, maximize the results of each contract and of each client, you won't have to continue chasing clients anymore. 90% of this is in your positioning. What is positioning? Positioning is not your niche. Positioning is not what your headline says, where it says transforming content marketing into your treasure, or designers helping founders design amazing magic things. No, that's not your positioning. Your positioning is how you present yourself. So this is your personal brand. It is your language. It is even your profile picture, everything. Take it from me. I mean, I've just joined LinkedIn 1 year ago and a couple of months, so 14 months ago. And I've done some pretty big things. I mean, there are people who have reached higher levels than me, but I'm the one doing the webinar, right? So basically just try to get people to identify who you are, tell them how you offer your services, position yourself as an authority, because authority marketing is the best. You want to be an authority. You don't want to be another content writer, another designer. I'm sorry, content writers. It's the first thing that comes to my head. Copywriter, technical, virtual assistant. You don't want to be another virtual assistant. There are so many virtual assistants out there. There are so many. I've worked with so many myself. For a short time, I was just working with virtual assistant. I was worried. I was like, is everybody a virtual assistant these days? Is everybody going to be a virtual assistant, especially in Africa? I must mention this. If you are in Africa, especially if you are a lady, a female, there are more things. I see that most ladies in Africa, they are offering virtual assistants. Look for other not niches. Look for other passions that you may have. I see that many, they have been great in changing to Airbnb, arbitrage. Others have been social media management. Look for other things, because everybody competing for the same thing. That's what I'm going to. I'm not saying not to be a virtual assistant. I'm saying that everybody competing for the same thing in the same geography is going to be a disaster. Disastrous. In Venezuela, everybody wanted to be a social media manager. You know what that caused? The prices, they collapsed. In Pakistan, I remember that everybody was a designer or a web developer, a web designer. Prices, they go down. Everybody's competing for the same clients. Stop that. Don't do the same thing. Positioning is very important. Positioning is how you present yourself, the language you use, the way you present not only your profile, but yourself. Do different things, offer different services, and make people feel that you are shining. That's what you have to do. You have to shine. I'm just going to make sure. I mean, is there something missing here? No, I've done my best here with this one. This slide, I had it in mind for you guys because positioning is what I do the best. It's what I want you to learn the best, because when you don't position yourself well, what happens? Let's do an example. If you are, for example, a designer and you are positioning yourself as just another designer without a story, because storytelling is very important. A designer without a story, without an important brand voice, you are just offering services writing posts that end with a CTA, a boring CTA. Yeah, so if you need this, contact me, send me a DM, I'll help you, I'll get on a call with you. That's the same thing that everybody does. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, but that everybody does that. You have to be different. Tell a story about yourself. Make a video. There's a very interesting profile, a guy with a profile. His name is Ubaid, yeah. He does some very nice posts and videos, tutorials, and he teaches you. He's not paying me or anything for this shout out. He actually never engages with me even, but he's really good at this. He has a very specific positioning, and he's in Pakistan, I think. So he doesn't have a huge advantage geographically, but what he does things differently. So look at these guys, these Jasmine, Ryan Musselman, these Justin Welshers. They are not the best ever people in their field, but they are very good at positioning themselves. And if they're here, they're listening somehow. Yeah, sorry about that, but you know what I mean. So basically, we're reaching the end of the webinar, and I'm here to tell you, I'm going to level up your freelance career. I'm very interested in helping people skyrocket their income, maximizing their revenue, growing. You know that because I've been giving free content away for a long time. So this is the announcement that I had. I've changed my profile recently, actually yesterday, less than 24 hours ago. There's actually a new, right here it is, a new link there. You can go there at the end of the call. Don't worry, you don't have to rush now. You can subscribe and book a call here. As soon as you open that, which is my profile is right here in case you don't see it, in case you don't know it, and you will find this. This is my link tree. I've had to create a link tree because I have two things for you guys. One of them is a waitlist for the Freelance Income Accelerator newsletter. That's my new newsletter. I wanted to announce this here on this webinar. It's a big moment for me. I'm currently about to record about 10 to 15 Loom videos for you. They're going to be completely free. I just want you to subscribe on this wait list for now. You're going to see big changes. You're going to see I'm going to do new things in the coming weeks. This is a big year for all of us. And I'm going to create those Loom videos. You guys are going to get them very soon. I have to give me time. Give me time because the newsletter isn't ready yet or anything. And secondly, I want to make an announcement. The Freelance Success Hotline. Yeah. The Freelance Success Hotline was recently I removed it, but lots of people, they reached out, they said, I didn't have time to book, I didn't have time to this, that. So I've made a new one. This is not any type of sales trick. It actually costs less than the Freelance Success Hotline did because it was 30 minutes. This one is 1 hour. It's more or less the same price. And I give you more because I give you an extra call. Besides the call, I give you 20 minutes. And in that call, I will tell you what you're doing wrong, what you have to do. I will go through your profile. I will check your competitors, and we will maximize your potential, unlock that potential that you have, because everybody has potential to make crazy money. Look at me, $10, 5,000 a month. Huge. And that was still in Venezuela, by the way, 5,000 a month. So that was living like a king. You can do it. You can do it from anywhere you are. That's what I wanted to look at. Check it out. I'll only be doing that call 2 days in August and 2 days in September. So book as soon as you can, because I won't have that much time anymore. When September gets to the middle stage, I won't have time. So please check it out. As you can see here, you can check it out for yourself, 30 and 31, 30th, 31st of August, and the 13th and 14th of September, only 3 hours per day. So I wanted to give you a big thank you, and a big thank you again to the 9 a.m. team. If you are very grateful, cookies are welcome. White chocolate chip are preferred. I like them. And anything else, I will just leave it to Yuri. We will go to the Q&A session now. And it's been great. I'm so tired. Okay. Stressed out.
Yeah, Anthony, you've did a great job. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. And there are so many questions. So let's jump right to them. There were 3 anonymous and just 1 Agni. So let's start from the anonymous question 1. If I have improved my profile bio and my proposals, but I can't land jobs, what can I do?
Okay. Hello, Anonymous. I'm sorry that you didn't tell us who you are. It doesn't matter. It's always valid. If you've improved your proposals and your bio, it really depends on how you improved it. For example, I've taught some people how to improve it, and then they go and they just do a different variation of what they already did wrong. So last time they wrote one huge wall of text, and I say, hey, remove those wall of text, blah, blah, blah. They separate the wall of text and then they write something completely wrong. So you have to look at what you're doing. What does the language say? Does it have a good intro? Every profile should have a good intro, a great intro. It should be a way for the client, because clients, we don't go through, when we're searching or when we're doing proposal reading, this applies for both things. We don't read the whole proposal. We don't read the whole profile. We read the first part. So this should be a question. It should be showing that you read it. Please, sorry. Do not do the mistake of repeating back to me what I already said. Don't do, oh, so you are looking for somebody to write a technical blog for you. Do not do that, please. I know what I wrote. You don't have to tell me what I wrote. That is a mistake that many people make. And I see that there are people who are, the proposals they write, they are very low effort because they think, what the heck? I mean, they're not even going to check. If you're going in with that philosophy, I had a short period in 2016 or so. I was low on confidence. I was writing them, hey, I mean, I usually write a long proposal, but since you might not be able to look at it, just let me know if you saw it and we can get on an interview. That is terrible. That is a terrible idea. Make sure that your proposals, they start with a strong hook, like a LinkedIn post, amazingly. And don't be afraid to use things like Loom videos. I recommend them only if the client has dedicated time to writing a proper job post. If the client doesn't make an effort, don't make an effort yourself, because they might have not have time. They might not be interested in watching any Loom videos. But if the client made an effort, use a Loom video, get them on a call, get them somewhere professional. There's another thing I have to say. Please do not communicate with clients on unprofessional platforms, because talking with them on WhatsApp, that type of thing, that creates a sort of casual environment. Get them on Upwork all the time, on Zoom, on Telegram. Sorry, Telegram is really bad. Other similar platforms, because you want them to stay in the positive mindset. I hope that answered your question, even as much as I could.
There are so many more questions. So second question is from Agni. And first of all, thanks for your time, Anthony. And the question is related to LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn comment section are a good way to display your thought leadership and expertise in a certain field, even target a certain audience. Do you have any views, experience in using the comment sections on LinkedIn in order to build relationships?
Right. Yes, indeed. That is actually how I use LinkedIn. I barely ever, there is a huge myth. I'm not going to say myth. Okay, I don't use it, but other people do. But there is a huge hype around DMs. Everybody has to DM, reach out every day, reach out every week. I don't use DMs. I rarely use DMs. Today I sent one to Ryan. Okay, that's good. That's an exception. I reached out to Nazish, another great freelance guide. I reached out to Maria Britzer, another great freelance guide. But that is very rare. I don't use DMs that much. I use comments. Comments, they help you because you can ask questions. You can say, this post is great, and quickly move on to saying something else. Because never say just, great post. That is so useless. That's one of the most useless comments ever. It helps engagement for me as a creator, but that's it. Say something like, this post is great. I especially believe that people should XYZ. So just add on their value. Other people say maybe disagree. I used to disagree a lot, but I realized that some people are so sensitive. Even people who look like adults, they often get so angry. I recently commented on a guy. I disagreed very slightly. I said, great post, but this. And he was like, he haha reacted on my comment. And he said, yeah, that's not even true. I was like, this guy is a man-child. So use comments positively. Try to use them positively. And is the 1 hour call free? I'm sorry, blessing. No, it's not free. It's actually very, just wanted to let you know the 1 hour call isn't free. It's at a limited price. It's just for helping you do all of the things that I said. I provide you a PDF at the end. I didn't say that. And you get an extra call afterwards for connecting again. So no, it's not free, but it's very cheap for the price it costs. Anything else?
So there are many more questions, and I'm just thinking to start from chat or to Q&A. Okay, so let's go just by Q&A. So one more anonymous. And how can I enhance my communication skills? This includes not just negotiation, but also effectively reaching out to others.
Personally, I would say that people have to see themselves as an expert, always. Even if you are not an expert, see yourself as an expert. The change, it will start within. You will not get a change if you still have the imposter syndrome. Look, I recently worked with two people who have over 20 years of experience in their fields. Well, 15 and 20 plus years. They both had the same problem, and they were both in the United States, which is usually a geographical advantage, right? But they were struggling, and I had to tell them, look, your life is extremely you're doing extremely well in your life. You have 15 and you have 20 years of experience. One of them lives in California, in Silicon Valley. I said, how can you not be exploiting that advantage? I was like, you should be exploiting that. There are people around you, clients who will pay you millions. And you have to see yourself as an expert, because that example that I'm using, it's because people who don't see that, they will reach their older years, they will reach their adulthood, and they will not have worked for big clients. They will not have worked because all their lives they went thinking, I'm not good enough. And that is the biggest change you have to make. Your communication will come after that. You can't learn communication. You have to be here, up here, and then your communication will come naturally. So see yourself as a niche authority.
Anthony, I have a question for myself. You were talking about positive thinking, changing your mindset to thinking like I'm the best, to I'm enough. So how exactly to do that? You know, there are so many big experts, and I found myself that the more I'm talking to experts in the niche, the more I'm feeling average, because oh my God, there are so many people, so many great experts. So how to build this I'm the best mindset?
Okay, that's a good question. And before the call, we were on a practice session, right? And Yuri told me that he was in a conference. He taught something. He didn't tell me the subject to 700 people live. So if you had taught 700 people something live, I've never done that. I felt nervous because I was going to get in front of 100 and something people, which actually 100 people didn't join. I'm very thankful that around 40 plus people joined. I was nervous. So 700 people, just go back to that. That's what I tell people. Go back to the moments, your successes. Don't think about your failures. Go back to your successes always. Use them as fuel. Use them as a fuel that will lead you to bigger things, that will lead you to success, further success. Don't focus on what you're not good at. Focus on what you're good at and monetize the SHIT out of it. That's it.
Yeah. It sounds really easy, but yeah, I totally understand what. Thank you very much. And Laura is asking, are you creating a personal brand only through LinkedIn, or are you using Twitter, Instagram, TikTok too?
Well, thank you, Lovro. I just saw that you said just started 1 month ago. Looking up to you. Good job, man. Thank you. And the personal brand for now, LinkedIn, I was previously creating on Facebook, but as you know, Facebook has become an unserious platform, more or less. I'm not sure your experiences, Yuri, your marketer. And the thing about LinkedIn to me is that you have access to everybody in the world. Like, not everybody in the world, but everybody in every company. You can access somebody in the highest Fortune 100 companies. You can access somebody here and there. And that, for me, gives you the ability to raise your voice to any field or any person. TikTok, I do not like TikTok, believe me. I'm one of those anti-TikTok boomer type people, but I am looking to get on Twitter. IG Reels, I'm in contacting somebody who does videos, and YouTube. So Twitter is going to be my first shift. So if I go there, I'll let you know, man.
Yeah, I will just add from my experience that LinkedIn is currently, I feel like, is very good development platform, and it's switching from being just a place for an online resume to a real, like, this network place.
Yeah.
And I feel like all other things like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, etc., it's like one more of the touch points. So you can just reach those people who you can't reach on LinkedIn. So it's just like one more additional touch point for people. And Patrick is asking how to create a story on LinkedIn as a web developer in freelancing.
Right. Patrick, okay. So as a web developer, I think you have to get a bit more technical. That is something that I recently had a conversation with an agency. They wanted me to work alongside them, creating content to be like the contract, how to say it, like the lead generator for them. And the thing about web development and things like chemical engineering, you have to be very technical. You have to find the audience, the right audience. So that is a slight disadvantage that you have when you are a web developer, because you have to talk about things that the common audience, they are not familiar with. So you will not be attracting the same audiences. I would say keep the storytelling strong. because you can't count only on web developers, right, as your audience. You have to find clients who might not know that much about it. So keep your storytelling strong. Tell people what they do with a website. Don't just focus on the development process and the software. Tell them what they do with a website, how web development has evolved maybe over the years. You can use carousels. You can use examples of great web developers, how a web developer changed a brand just by changing the website design or how it worked. So this type of thing is very important. Just do storytelling and talk about yourself. Don't just sit behind an image or a carousel. Talk about yourself. This is me developing. I feel exhausted, but it's so rewarding, blah, blah, blah. Some of my best viral posts have been just about myself. They're not that good for getting clients, but they're good for building a brand.
Anthony, just one more question from what I keep hearing from freelancers that, AI took our jobs. So AI is friend or foe for a freelancer?
It's both, I think. I hope this is not the last question, right?
No, it's all right. Lots so many questions.
Okay,
Just the
yeah.
beginning.
Okay, so it's both. I don't think it's a friend, and I don't think it's a foe. The people who use it, I don't want to say the cliche line. AI is only going to replace people who don't know how to use it or don't use it. It's true. It's true. I'm afraid that if you're not using AI right now, you can get away with it. But if you're not using AI within 1 year, it might be ugly. It might get ugly. I work with translators, writers, editors, proofreaders, designers, narrators. Those are my main people I hire. I also hire strategists for myself. And all of them are suffering. All of them. The translator, I reached out to my main translator recently. He said, thank God. Imagine that. He told me, thank God. Why? No, you know why. AI is taking all my work. I've reached out to writers. Oh, finally, thank you for reaching out. I haven't got much work. I reached out to editors. I reached out to strategists and I worked with him. And since he charges a lot, I decided to a lot of his work to do with ChatGPT. And he was shocked. He was like, ChatGPT wrote that? I said, yes, I created a high ticket product. Just he would have taken like 3 weeks. I took 2 hours. So that's a thing. But it's not a foe if you are using it correctly.
Got it. There are so many questions. There are 4 questions, 1 in a chat, 3 in Q&A. So we have time only for 1. So Anthony, please pick 1 question you'd like to answer the most, to give the most value. And yeah.
Okay. There's 2 good questions here. The professional website, let me answer that quickly. The professional website, you don't need one, but it will help you a lot if you are building as an authority. It will help you a lot. So as for that, you don't need one. The second one, I will have to respond just to Shagufta one. What do you love doing? A skill you end up monetizing. Okay, could you please praise? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, content writers and content writers. I didn't mean anything by that. No offense, please. I'm one of them myself. So what do you love doing? I think it's storytelling. Just using storytelling to make the most value. And it has helped me. I got recently a top storytelling badge or top storytelling voice badge on LinkedIn, which was fantastic. And I think it might land me some clients. They are very interested in my work. Let's see. But there's big things coming. You'll see.
How to upsell as a writer?
What?
As there is the question, how to upsell as a writer?
Oh, how to upsell as a writer. I would say that instead of just packaging your work, which is what many writers do, yeah, I will do 5 articles instead of 1. That is not the way. I think you have to look at a strategic point of view. Keep telling people, sorry, I just read something, distracted me. Start looking upwards, like I said in the webinar itself. There are things you can do which are not just writing. There are things like content strategy, SEO analysis. There are other things, for example, copywriting. Maybe just tell them that you're going to need a few hours of research in competitors and openly tell them that you use ChatGPT. So you can use ChatGPT as a person to have a conversation with, to decide and strategize with. And that will give you more value than just writing.
So we are running out of time. So Numan, Bulifatife, Oriana, please connect with Anthony on LinkedIn. I just posted his LinkedIn on chat. Please reach out to him, ask this question. I bet you will receive a great answer. So just do that. And once again, Anthony, thank you so much for sharing great tips. And it was amazing. And yeah, I will use them immediately right away. So I propose you folks to do that too.
Yeah.
And yeah. And also, thank you, folks, for joining us today. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the 9am community or connect with Anthony on LinkedIn, as I said. And again, those of you who don't have a 9am account, go to 9am.works, God damn it, click sign up and check it out. And if you have any challenges, reach out to me, reach out to the whole team, and we're happy to help you. We're free to chat. So here is 9am platform, and Anthony's LinkedIn is a little up, and my LinkedIn, oh my God, I won't have time to find it. But if you are asking, okay, I wasn't prepared for that. But if you want to connect, yeah, please, here is my LinkedIn.
Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter, guys. The newsletter is completely free. If you don't want to get on the call, fine, but the newsletter is good. And for the call, I'm offering a limited price only. So get there as quickly as you can.
Reach out to Anthony, do it right away. Thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you very much, folks. And see you in the freelancing world. Thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye.